So you want to be like him, or maybe her, or even him. Look at how confident they are speaking to a camera. You might be thinking to yourself, man, this is so hard. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that. Well, just like many things in life, it's just an acquired skill that takes a little bit of time to get comfortable with. But with this video, I like to believe that the tips I'll be sharing with you today will help you get to that comfortable and confident level a little bit quicker. I mean, technically there's really no correct way to do this, but there are mistakes that both myself and my peers have made over the years that maybe you can learn from and not have to make the same mistakes that we did and start from step 2 rather than starting from step 1. I mean, look at this guy. He definitely had no idea what he was doing, but he was trying his best and failing a lot. He walked so I, 8-9 years later, could run. So let me help you run as well with this first tip. Tip number 1, scripts. Maybe you think you can just wing it. And honestly, I've probably done it more times than I'd like to admit. But what comes with winging it is a lot of frustration. Trying to form a whole video idea and message and concept in your head on the spot is a lot to ask of anybody, especially somebody that is new to doing this whole thing. And it's the worst because that's what everybody that just starts out does. You know, you just turn on the camera and you just go for it. But take it from somebody that's been talking to a camera for more time than I'd probably like to admit. You know, just script it out. Give yourself something to work with. You are the subject, the narrator, the guru throughout this whole adventure that you're speaking on. So offer your audience the best experience possible and not something that's just half-assed through together after you click the record button. Also, do yourself a favor and avoid those general frustrations and long recording times by just planning out what you're gonna say. Honestly, one of the first videos that I made back in the day that gained a bit of traction was one that I kind of planned out. I wrote myself some notes, I wrote myself some bullet points to jump off of, and they were notes and they were points that I really wanted to hit and I wanted to make sure came through in the video. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't script it out a little bit. Trying to come up with it off the top of your head, it's not possible. Or it is possible for some people, but those people are, I don't know, naturals. And a side note to that, and this is not even on script, this is, you know, this is the freedom that you get to have when you make a video and you script it out and you know what you're gonna say. The best part is when people were commenting, they were commenting on points that I made throughout the video and things that I planned out and made very clear. That idea of having a full-on conversation with somebody through a video and then through comments is something that you're kind of striving for when you make these videos. You're trying to make them think about things, make them learn some things, make them understand certain things, or just convey emotion. And by planning that out and really getting an idea of how you want to display whatever information you're trying to portray, it comes across a lot cleaner and people both appreciate it and also you will appreciate it as well. Now, don't get me wrong. This doesn't mean that you have to act like a robot and only speak exactly how you wrote it down. People can see that from a mile away. Oh wait, I'm in Germany now. People can see that from a kilometer away. There we go, that's better. If anything, the scripting and planning gives you some rules and guidelines to kind of play around with. If you know the general premise or message that you're going for throughout the entirety of the video, it makes it a lot easier to kind of play around with certain creative elements of it and how you say things or how you structure that. And that makes it a lot easier when you can just look down and be like, okay, that's what I want to talk about next. So how am I gonna say this rather than what am I gonna say? And then how am I gonna say what I'm gonna say? It just cuts out a whole step. Hold on, I got a Pablo Picasso quote for you that's relevant. He said, learn the rules like a pro so you can break them like an artist. Tip number 2, leave a little space, why don't you? Everybody at first thinks that when you sit down to record a video, or all the professionals that sit down to record a video, they sit down and they record it once time through and that's it, and they're perfect and they're ready to take it to the editor. That is not true, and I'll prove it. You ready? Trying to form a whole video and message, trying to form a whole video idea and message, trying to form a whole video idea and message. This can give you a pretty good idea of the vibe that you're looking for when you go to record. It's not just like, you don't get it on the first try, it sucks, I suck, I'm bad. No, the amount of times I re-say things while recording in different ways, different voices, different inflections, it's just the way it goes. What I like to do is I have my computer set right here and I like to take the script and break everything into 1 or 2 sentence paragraphs so that I can just read them that way and use kind of like as my recording guide. Even sometimes when I record, I have to break it into like each sentence because 2 sentences of memorization for 20 seconds is really hard. Now with this though, there is a detail that you have to be aware of, and that is continuity with how you say things into the next sentence. Allow me to give you 2 examples. Ready? All right, first one. What usually helps me is I write out a script, I break everything into 1 or 2 sentence paragraphs to use as my recording guide. Even sometimes when I record, I have to break a 2-sentence paragraph into 2 1-sentence takes. What usually helps me is I write out a script, I break everything into 1 or 2 sentence paragraphs to use as my recording guide. Even sometimes when I record, I have to break a 2-sentence paragraph into 2 1-sentence takes. Now, did you catch the issue with the first one? It had totally different vocal tonality. It had totally different inflections. There was no any sort of character to the second one, and spliced together with the first one, it just sounds off. There's no consistency. There's no continuation of the comment. You can tell that it was recorded separately. So with the second example, what I tend to do is keep in mind of how I finished the last sentence. And even in some instances, what I'll do is I'll like say the end of the last sentence, so in the same way that I said it, so that I kind of can understand where the inflections are and how I ended that last one to make the next sentence come in a lot cleaner and a lot more natural. Again, here's another example of me doing that. What usually helps me after I write out a script is I break everything into 1 or 2 sentence paragraphs to use as my recording guide. Even sometimes when I record, I have to break a 2-sentence paragraph into 2 1-sentence takes. All right, tip number 3, call them to action. Now that you've run through your entire script and recorded everything all the way through, now you need an outro. From the bit of research that myself and my team did for this video, I found a great use of the call to action that isn't just saying, please subscribe. What we found was that you can put a little bit more effort into finding suggested content that you may already personally have, or give them reasons to subscribe as to what may be upcoming, what you may have to offer, etc. And all of this can be promoted at the end of the video so that people can continue watching your videos. And even if this is your first video, you can potentially promote another video that would be helpful to people so that, you know, you're still offering them a service, you're offering them some sort of guidance and help, which a lot of people I would assume might appreciate that. Now, I'm not sure how much that would help with YouTube to want to promote your own personal channel, because YouTube is guided around keeping people on your channel and promoting watch time on your own channel. So I don't know if it'll help you with your analytics, but at least for your first video, if you have nothing else to offer, you know, there you go. You can do that. Get some backlinks, you know? I don't know if that's actually how that works, so don't take my word on backlinks and stuff, but either way, it's a nice little gesture to an audience. So those are my top 3 tips for recording better talking head videos. But now it's time for me to promote the product that makes all of these videos possible, and that is Type Studio. If you take that video that you've recorded and drop it into Type Studio's program, it can help you cut down that video and add some video elements to it as well. With the click of a button, this epic text-based video editor can get rid of all the ums and long awkward pauses from the video to make it play out a hell of a lot smoother. All right, Type Studio really does have some cool plans in the future for the one-stop shop for content creators, so save up that Dogecoin you got to invest into Type Studio when it finally goes public in a few years. But until that point, keep talking to cameras, keep getting better, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm gonna take my own advice real quick, and here is a video that goes a little bit more in depth into what Type Studio does, if that interests you. And here is our latest podcast episode with none other than Omer Khan, the founder of the SaaS Club and the SaaS Podcast. Very nice man, fun conversation. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the comments and in the next video.